and it is for sale at the moment. In fact, I'll lift the hood, which I haven't done yet, and stick this thing up. It's on Gumtree at the moment. I've had a couple of people throw me offers, and I've had some who are very, very rude and calling me names just to try and see if they could get this any cheaper. Now, I've done some homework on these, and they've been selling for between $1,800 and $2,500 on the internet, and that's why I was trying to get what I wanted for it, because it does have a problem. Yes, it does, and I can't afford to fix it, and that's why it's like, yeah, because I have my own runabout. If you view this channel and you look at some of the videos, you'll see I have my own vehicle. Now, this is dead cold, and I only just opened up the hood now, and I left it open overnight as well, because hey, someone might come around and I can pop it. Where is the exhaust? Because I want to be a smarty pants and show that actually it's dead cold, because I haven't started this for months. So this will be the first. Hey, look, there's a hose clamp that's not even done up. Okay, well, that's not good. And no, the what I know about this vehicle is I had it since the beginning of the year. I brought it home, and on my way home, I kept stalling it. And the reason I kept stalling it is because I'm not used to this vehicle, and it has a really heavy clutch, and my leg got so tired. I think my leg was like sore for a week with the clutch. It's heavy. Now, I did have a problem with this, and I looked at it and I judged it, and I realized that this isn't a problem, because that's just for like a different scenario. There's a hose on the bottom there, and it's on minimum, but I put clean coolant in this, as far as I recall. It's a little bit dirty. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you see the side of the cap. I used a soldering iron and meshed it together because I didn't want the cap being too loose, which is a little bit loose. And I filled it up with water. So this should have water in it. Shouldn't have a problem. These hoses are hard. It has a new battery in it, has a new starter in it. That I got told it has a new starter in it, and I wasn't sure. So I looked over here, and you notice that the material is different color. It's just dirty from sitting, and it's a new battery. So I got palmed this on because the owner of this vehicle was sick of the battery always going dead. So what he did was because he had to keep replacing batteries every couple of months, he ended up putting a solar panel on there permanently, which is sitting right there, and that stopped the battery from discharging. And that's why he put that there, and that's why there's a new battery there, because he kept having to replace it. He was sick of having to replace some little things on it, especially the battery, because that was the only thing that kept going wrong. He also didn't like the idea of the dash problem that he had, which is what I tried to fix, but I couldn't fix. And the reason I can fix it is because he bent it and did something very stupid. So the front seats are in crappy condition, honestly, and the rear seats are in really good condition, except, to be honest, all that dirt and all that grease is actually my fault by accident. I had to bring my motor to their workshop to get it machined. So this is what the previous owner did to the dash, and a little bit of glue in here. And I was trying to straighten this up because this thing sort of doesn't want to stay at zero. Like, there's a spring behind this, and if I take off this plate, there's a spring there, and that spring keeps binding up. So every time I'm you're driving along, because that's why he put a hole in it to glue this thing on, and he put a peg on it or something. He did some funny thing with it, and so yeah. So this does work. Everything works. Last time I started was about 3 months ago, I think. Actually, no, not even 3 months. I started in April or March. March. Because I had my engine done then, and that's the only time I've driven it. And then the rego ran out a couple of months ago. So come on, get back in that position. There you go. It's about where it needs to be. And there's the stickiness in that from the binding of the spring, which is why I can't afford to fix two cars. So it's like, yeah, this isn't really a viable vehicle for me personally for work. Now this car will start, and I hope the radio's not on. There we go, the radio's off. It's everything's working. Clutch is a little bit lighter than I remember. But there you go. It's running. It's got a weird problem there, I think. Oh, I know what that is. That's on the thing, but I'm showing you that it runs. It's got no problems. Here's a rack, and they have a rack at the back, 3 meters of material. It drives. This thing needs a service though, so that's all I'll tell you that I know about this vehicle. It hasn't been serviced, but the reason for that, I believe I know why. I believe I know why that is. It just sounds a little. Yeah, it does sound a bit rattly and rocky. But she hasn't been run for a while. Should just let her run, but I wanted to talk a bit about what I know about this vehicle while this is working. So there are rattles under here, yes, and I got told about one of them is this compressor is actually seized. So what they've said is they've got a new compressor in the back, and it's from a different vehicle, but it just needs to be wired up, and the bracket needs to be put on and stuff, and should be good to go. So that's this compressor here. It's second hand from another car, and they said just put that in and she'll be good to go. Come on, don't break on me, box. Ah, shit. Now I'm making a mess in the car. I'm making the seats dirty. So I think that's the stuff that they were telling me about, the brackets and stuff. They talked about how they were making up a new bracket or something for it, or they got a new bracket or something for the motor. It just needs to be bolted up and she'll be good to go. Now, that's the compressor that they told me is for this. They said if you put it in, wire it up, put it in, it will work again. And that's what I know. It needs the compressor. I got told, I'm not 100% sure, but from driving it, I'll believe it. I got told that the thermostat got taken out of it and they never put it back in. So that's something I know about it. And I'm not even sure where the thermostat is. It's probably here. That's probably the thermostat housing there. She's already warm, so that's pretty cool. And that needs to be put in if you want it to run good for a very long distance or something. I don't. It's for heating up the engine. But she's already getting warm, so that's good. Good sign. That's what I've been told. I've been told that the thermostat's been removed and they never put a new one back in. I've been told about the compressor. It had the gearbox rebuilt because the linkage broke inside that got it stuck in reverse and they couldn't drive it anywhere. And shanks, what else was there? The starter motor's been replaced just before I bought it. And the guys who did put the starter motor in, they said, yep, we put it in. And it's just a little bit dirty. It's got brand new wires right there, you can tell. I'm not actually sure if that's the loom or it's the original loom. I don't even know. There's stuff I do and don't know. It just looks like brand new wires. I'm like, wow. And that's that. It will drive. So if you wanted to register this and drive it home, that's a very good possibility. But it's not registered. Hasn't been registered since May. And that's pretty much that. I would suggest Well, you know, it's not a big problem yet, but these lenses probably need to be replaced. And it has nearly new tires, like they're second-hand new on the car. That's what I got told. So what they had this vehicle for, they've had this vehicle for a long time. They actually used this vehicle for a certain set of runs that they did. They picked up stuff from one place called GRH, took it back to the machine shop. Then they went from the machine shop and took it back to GRH when they were still here, but they've moved, so not here anymore. And occasionally they'd go and use this to get 6 meter long pieces of bar and put them straight across, or 3 meter bar or something, and it would rest on here, and then they'd just tie it down with some ropes and stuff. Other than that, it's actually in pretty good condition. The only thing I'm really going to miss about it is the idea that it has a tray. It's a 4-door ute, it's 4-wheel drive, it is pretty solid the way it steers. I'm not going to miss the length of the vehicle, because a larger your vehicle, longer it is, the harder it is to drive, one. And number two that I don't like about this vehicle is it doesn't really have that much guts. Like, it's a 2-liter and it's like a 2-ton vehicle, and it doesn't have that much power. It doesn't feel like, oh my bag birds. So that's my problem with this vehicle. But I have my own vehicle which I really like, which is around the back, and it's in bits and pieces. So the reason mine's in bits and pieces is because I'm fixing things on it, and I keep having to fix things. So this is mine, and the problem with it at the moment is there's a idler arm, and that's worn out. I'm actually putting bars on the car to try and capitalize off the life of my vehicle. This is a 2.5 litre, and it's very gutsy for what it is. And the idler arm, I'm pretty sure, oh, there's the arm. I had to bring it in here and knock off the idler, because that's crappy condition. Oh, where is the idler arm? I think I've left it on the bench. I had a problem with mirrors as well on my car. Nope, it's not here. Okay, I have no idea where the idler arm's gone. But that's the problem I had with my car. That's what I'm having with my car. And here it is. Idler arm. So this is what I'm having problems with on my car, and I have to get a new one. Can't get one till tomorrow. And yeah, I have to keep asking my parents for money, so that sucks me in a little bit. But at least they're helping me. They just said, you know, you're not going any less than that thing's value. You did this work. You know, we know the value of it, and I've showed them what the value of it is. They said we'd rather you keep it and, you know, use it as a backup, because that's what my dad wanted it for, backup vehicle, because his car keeps breaking down, the V6. I love his V6, it just keeps breaking down. And this thing is probably more reliable than Dad's V6. It's just going to be a bigger pain, I think, to fix, in the sense if something does majorly go wrong. You can still get parts, but that's one of the pains in the butt. You have to know where to go. And from what I've learnt, source parts, it's not a Tata engine, even though it's made by Tata, or some weird crap. I'm not sure. All I know is Mitsubishi done it with Hyundai. Mitsubishi designed an engine, Hyundai built it, and that was that scenario. The Tata engine, I believe, is a BMW engine, and I'm not really sure much other than that. This was well maintained, but I haven't serviced it myself since I got it. I got it, brought it straight home, then I had to use it for a run there and back, to go take my engine there, drop it off, come home, then I had to go back there, pick it up, and then bring it back home. That's the only thing I've done with this vehicle since I've had it. Other than that, I would prefer to drive my own vehicle, because this thing just doesn't... I don't really like how this thing drives. The reverse gear is in the weirdest place ever, which is one of the reasons why I don't like it. Here's your reverse, and to get it into first is like that, but to get in reverse is like that. That's first, second, and that's reverse. So now it's in reverse. I was having a hard time getting in reverse the first time I got to look at this car. And so anyone who wants this car, if you have another instrument cluster, you have a new tacho to put in here, that will solve a problem, and you'll be able to drive this legally on the road. with no problems. But that's the reason. This whole cluster is about $200. I wanted to get 1800 for it with a new cluster, which I was going to replace the cluster, but I couldn't ever afford it. And I decided, nah, I'm going to wait until I have money till I can fix it, and then I'll decide to fix it and then sell it. Or what I will do is I'll just keep it as a spare backup and, you know, take people for a drive in it, because it's pretty nice for a four-door. I mean, there's only some cosmetic crap wrong with it. Other than that, I think, from what I'm aware of, mechanically, it's actually pretty good. It's just, it feels like junk on the road. The research I did find out, though, about these vehicles was there was a Tata Telco line, I believe it was, before this one, and they tried to bring it to Australia, and it got rejected because it was too gutless for the roads. And this thing is a bit more gutsier, but it's only just barely allowed to be on the roads due to its power level. But from what we know, and a lot of people have done research and know this, these things take a lot of crap from the terrains that they drive on and the way they drive, and they last a very long time. These are like, in some ways, India's version of Toyota. And yeah, the only thing I can say that's popular about these cars when people normally pick them up is they normally take the driveline out of them, because everything else is really good about these things. You'll never have to rebuild the suspension, as far as I'm aware. It's heavy duty suspension. I mean, be envious of the leaf springs on the back like my dad is. They're just so damn freaking heavy. And every other vehicle is not heavy like that. Well, most others. This is like a truck on a ute. Like, this is a ute on a truck, sorry. And that's what it essentially is. It weighs about 2 ton. Mine weighs about 1700. Yeah, okay, so I'll let you make up the verdict. If anyone wants to actually come see this for themselves and whatever, then sure. But I got one guy who is definitely interested. Most of the other people who have been interested have, like, said they're going to come over tonight or something, and then they just never shown. Or the next day they'll come and then they haven't shown or something. And it's just been like, you know, it's made my mum feel very uncomfortable. And she's like, oh, they're going to come and steal it and then pull parts off of it and then build one good one out of a stolen one and their own one, sort of thing. And that's what my mum's scared of. So, yeah, you know, hit me up with some offers. This thing is going one way or another. This guy might take it. And I do have a bottom price, and someone can make me happy. Yeah, okay. So, see you later, guys.